Games Workshop's Basement, hosted by John Quennell, Danny McDevitt, Val Heffelfinger. I'm Dicky, and it's Grim After Dark.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grim After Dark, Warhammer 40,000's only late-night TV show for some reason. I'm your sort of host, Val Heffelfinger, until John gets his green screen sorted out, but you better believe he's banging underneath that bunk bed real nice-like. In fact, why don't we start introducing some people? First, the man who is, I don't think he's ever had a line of dialogue cut from the show, despite what he may or may not recall. It's Danny.
That is patently false.
He recalls nothing. He has no specific memory of ever participating in this show at all. And then, as mentioned before,
it was a deep fake.
Yes, everything's a deep fake. We are not accountable for anything we say anymore because it was actually a computer that did it. Speaking of things and people who blame stuff on computers, John Quennell, everybody.
So, how's it going?
Looking like he's probably going for Hunter S. Thompson, but in fact looks more like that character from Doonesbury. Anyone remember the cartoon strip Doonesbury?
Wow, that was a great.
I just want you to know
deep
that
cut.
I look like Dorian Gray portrait. I am Hunter S. Thompson's portrait that's hidden in the basement. What's happening, guys?
So you're getting younger?
No, the portrait gets trashed. The person is fine. Yeah, I'm the trash portrait of Hunter.
You're the trash. Okay, I guess. Yeah, ChatGPT wrote that joke.
Yep.
I figured, if we're throwing out references that even our demographic are going to struggle to remember, then we're just going to go all the way.
Just wait till I hit up some Kathy jokes later on in the show. It's going to be real fucking sick.
Hey guys, we're going to talk about Friends. It's going to be great. I do have something for you guys, though. It's like a little special treat to get us started off on the right foot. I made this special slide. Dicky, you want to throw this up here? Warning! Actual discussion of the game of Warhammer Fantasy Battles ahead. What? You're disappointed, Val. I did this for you.
Well, okay, I'm not looking in the right place. And B, I just asked,
what is even happening?
And
right
B,
now?
I'm trying to find where you guys are because I'm not looking in the right place. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep hosting, John.
So last week, right as we were getting ready to go on, the show had already been prepped, all the good stuff. Warhammer community did show off some new Bretonnians, some new Tomb Kings. I know we talked about them a little bit last week.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Went ahead. I pulled up the photo of the Bretonnians in particular, because man, these are some fantastic parts of models.
Right,
guys. You're the fantasy people, not the real people. What are your takes on these? I mean, I love these helmets and shields.
Oh, did you think they were helmets?
Or I'm sorry, helms.
Helms.
No.
Cuirasses?
I thought they might just be like coats of arms.
Oh,
Are those helmets?
They could be.
Well,
They're probably helmets.
I don't know. Maybe it's helmets that cross the Rubicon. Game helms.
Hey,
Primaris helmets.
yeah, they're Primaris helmets for sure.
I'm gonna ask you guys, as the world famous experts in Warhammer Fantasy and all things.
I mean,
Square
yes,
Base,
I am. Square Base.
Is the preview indicative the new edition of the old world is going to be Tomb Kings versus Bretonnians?
I think yes. Yeah, I mean that's been strongly rumored for some time now. That would be Bretonnians and Tomb Kings. And if you really think about it, John, my friend,
I will not.
Those are the two lines from AOS that don't exist. Sorry, the two lines from Warhammer Fantasy that no longer exist are Bretonnians and Tomb Kings. For whatever reason, everything else went. I guess the elves kind of all got squatted. I guess
they added an E. They added an A.
Well, you can use them in like Cities of Sigmar.
But like most of the kits are gone. But there is still some high elves and some dark elves left. kicking around, and some wood. There's a handful of wood elves. You got the dudes riding the caribou, which are so badass.
What do you guys?
Riders.
What do you guys expect the initial release to be? Because this is again entire new game system. You have a built-in player base who are very passionate about the armies that they play, but you obviously can't release like 20 different factions at once. So how do you see the initial release faction-wise to be?
Can't you, John?
And why can't you?
Can't you?
I mean,
Okay.
it's terrible business, I would imagine.
Why?
Be like,
Okay, stop.
Here's 8,000 SKUs at once.
Who
Have fun.
cares? Yeah, who cares? Who cares?
You think
They
they're gonna
couldn't
let stores buy every kit? I don't think so.
They couldn't even keep Indominus
only.
stock in their factories.
Yeah, this will be
let
on
alone all of the things.
I suspect that they will have a release list of armies and then expand on them. But that being said, I would think that they launch with the rules for everything that existed because they've already said that was going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have guys. We have a Patreon. We have a Discord. We're shilling ourselves now. And there are questions that our patrons can ask the show. And the reason I pulled this in is there was a Warhammer Fantasy related Patreon question.
Oh.
Mark did ask, what is one thing that each host is better at than the rest when it comes to Warhammer Fantasy battles?
Oh.
What are you better at than Danny in Warhammer Fantasy battles?
What am I better at in Warhammer? Playing Warhammer Fantasy battles. Like literally just playing it because I do play it.
Fair.
So there's something there. Although Danny did get out and he did hit the old slip and slide of the WAP.
I played 2 games in the last like week and a half. I'm playing one tomorrow too.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
My Fantasy the Resurrection tournament has also been moved to the weekend of May 27th, which apparently is Memorial Day weekend, boys. So if you want to
remember things,
come on up to Canada to the mini wargaming bunker. Got your accommodation covered. You can be in a Warhammer themed weird hostile thing. And
can we be? What does it smell like?
I can only imagine.
Warhammer Fantasy.
Danny's gonna be in a Warhammer Fantasy themed room, which is just a tent outside in the woods.
Hey, they made a whole movie about that over there, so that's good. They have Ranger the whatever.
They sure did.
So when we last left Warhammer Fantasy, and for me, by the way, I haven't played it in about 25 years, so I would be best at getting rules wrong.
Can we not start any sentence to do with Warhammer Fantasy with when we last left Warhammer Fantasy? Because I believe it exploded.
No, it was last episode, Val. To be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fair. What do you think is going to be the internal markers for this game to be considered a success, like a relaunch to be successful for them, RGW for Warhammer Fantasy?
For me, I feel like it's going to depend on how much effort they put into like the game and the rules and like actually doing new stuff for it. So if they produced a ton of new kits, I think that they would expect that it sold at least as well as
paintbrushes.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. I'm not considering it as a percentage of their gross profit, asshole. But like No, John, the metric that was real was it didn't sell as much as the Space Marine line.
I heard Space Marine Tactical Squad kit.
Well,
but
that's not the numbers that I heard from GW itself. But hey, look, I don't know, man.
It's
plus side.
Regardless of where you're getting that particular snippet from, I think it's just folklore at this point.
Sure.
And I'm not entirely confident that GW is aware of exactly how much it sells of anything.
Do you think they keep track of that stuff?
I don't know that they do. So regardless of that fact, it's hard to know also what would make a success because there's stuff like Necromunda being fully supported and Horus Heresy and the War Cries and Kill Teams, anything that's not for Warhammer 40,000. They have these massive games, which each one of them could be an entire company's output.
Sure.
And we have no idea how well they do. I suspect their margins are so low that the actual gross amount of sales that they're required to hit for a game to be successful is actually a pretty low bar in like the grand scheme of things, much like how many listeners you have to have for it to be a successful Warhammer 40,000 podcast. Pretty low.
200
pretty
a
low.
week.
Very low.
pretty good.
More than a couple would be good. But so that's from a financial perspective, hard to know. But I imagine it's not actually that much because again, these are very scalable things for them. For me personally, just don't fuck it up, man. Just don't fuck it up, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
Dark Shadow Rift in chat is asking, do you think some Age of Sigmar models get updated fantasy battle rules with square bases? Similar to like reverse to what like they're doing where they're just adding extra factions in. Or is AOS too far removed from the aesthetic of Warhammer Fantasy Battles now?
Well, this is a WAP thing, right, Danny?
I mean, yeah. So that's one thing I do like about Warhammer Armies Project is they add AOS units into the books. So I quite like that. Some of the AOS units are pretty cool. I was using some of the Kurnoth Hunters in my Wood Elf list.
Oh hell yeah,
pretty fun. So
yeah, I mean those guys were probably meant to be the Treekin, but you know,
sure.
So I think where things make sense like that, yes, probably, maybe. It feels like a lot of those things, like it just meant like, especially like the Sylvaneth line, definitely felt like it was meant to be for fantasy.
Yep.
I mean, it matches the aesthetic of the tree men and the dryads that came out before it. So,
yep.
You know, I think there's probably a couple things like that. But yeah, you know, things like the Gore Gruntas and shit from the orc line. I don't know.
Gore Gruntas fit and like brutes could just be big orcs, like monstrous infantry.
They'd be monstrous infantry. You're right.
Which would be cool. And Gore Grunters as monstrous cav, like orcs and goblins don't have that.
That's true.
That would be a nice unit for them.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it does. I don't know. And you never also know like about internally how they view all of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's is because you do have like, because it's not actually the main studio producing this. This is a Forge World or Specialist Game Studio production. So who knows how like if there is any like weird silo internally around the production of the game. I mean, we just don't know. So like,
who knows?
Like there might be a weird thing where it comes out and like certain things are like gate kept because you know they've been saved for Sigmar and not allowed into the old world again for some reason.
That's very possible.
How are Warhammer?
Which brings me back to my previous point, which is please don't fuck it up, guys. Just don't fuck it up.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's a really good transition to the next picture I pulled up here of fucking it up, and then orcs in general. Got this from an Age of Sigmar forum on Reddit. It's like, hey, little man, how's it going? And it's just the Cruel Boys celebrating their 6th consecutive meta watch at the bottom. Val, did you pack some snacks for this week, by the way?
No, I just have some chewing gum.
Okay, well, we're gonna throw up the next slide here as well because there's gonna be actual discussion of the game of Warhammer 40,000 ahead. Warning. Danny, Cruel Boys, six meta watches in a row are adjustments where they're still at the bottom. Who are the 40k equivalent of the Cruel Boys? Who's perennially stuck at the bottom of the power?
Imperial Fist, John. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah, I even
Imperial
know
Fist.
that.
Why are they stuck at the bottom?
That I know the answer to that question.
It's bad when Val could just jump in. Yeah, it's this because it hasn't changed since you last super cared about 40K.
It's been a while, man.
But
wherever
Manny
Shima left their bloated corpse behind whatever dumpster, that's where they've been left.
All I know is it took longer than an hour 15 to do that, but that's okay. But why are Imperial Fist stuck at the bottom, Danny? What's keeping them there?
John, lots of reasons. Number one, there are other Space Marine chapters to choose from. Like you can literally pick anything from that book, and you probably have picked a better choice. Like literally anything. Like maybe even a random combination of successor traits might be better than what you get for playing Imperial Fists. That's not true. Like that's hyperbole, but like it's not far from true.
Would that remain true if they just got rid of all the errata and FAQs from 8th edition?
I don't think so. I think they'd be a lot better.
What if they just gave Imperial Fist Battle Company again and all the tanks were free and all of everything of the war gear
is coming,
was free?
John. It's coming.
And they're just like, hey, Buddy, Imperial Fist. Yeah, you don't have to spend CP for Warlord traits or relics. You just get them. You need them.
Here's a
But
brand new
how?
thing you guys can use. It's called a it's called a specialist
Ladies.
attachment.
I do like though that like there's clearly someone who's a writer in the studio who's just like slipping free rules for Space Marines in and just seeing how much like people notice. And there's like, okay, how about like a Rhino? We'll just do a Rhino now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, not a drop pod, but a Rhino. Yeah, Rhino.
I'll just do a drive, see if anyone notices, and eventually you'll just have a full Gladius available too. Which, for the record, everybody, in 7th edition Warhammer 40,000, if you brought a specific grouping of Space Marine units, which weren't very good, you could bring all of the Rhinos and drop pods that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a
For
terrible
free.
time.
No extra points.
It made a lot of people almost quit the game. So please don't go back to that. Danny, how would you fix the Imperial Fists? What's the simplest way for you to fix them? Apart from getting rid of them, you can't get rid of them. How would you fix the Imperial Fist?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably change their super doctrine so that it's back to the way it was before. Like, damage 3 heavy bolters probably isn't going to break the game.
Yeah.
Or it might. It might move them 3rd from bottom, and that can't happen.
No, I think they'd be pretty good if they got those.
Because there's a lot of vehicles going on right now, right? Arxoman's got lots of vehicles and shit. Like, I feel like they'd have some benefit.
I think there's a lot of heavy infantry around. That three damage heavy bolters would be pretty sick.
Yeah, there's definitely cool stuff.
Didn't they have a +1 to wound vehicles or something? Like, there's something too that they did something against.
Or reroll to wound.
Something like
one
that.
of those things, yeah.
They just need everyone else to take fortifications so all of their strats actually work. Terrible. We got one more actual game thing to talk about here, Val, because I wanted to bring up this next slide here. I'm going to punch the microphone too. The World Eaters FAQ came. Danny, are you surprised at the World Eaters FAQ? And do you believe that what they answered was actually a frequently asked question?
Maybe it might be. So the Warlord trait thing, to be fair, is a brand new thing. So I can understand how some people might be confused by that. I mean, it's pretty simple, but people get confused by simple things all the time, John. I really.
Hey.
What?
Hey, stop that.
Hey, listen, big town lawyer. You just take it easy on us simpletons, okay?
Oh, come on. Anyway,
so I'm going to need you to speak for 61 seconds into that microphone when no one else is speaking.
Absolutely not.
Oh, Lordy
exactly I know exactly all about your tricks, John.
Oh, beautiful. So was this you feel it's a necessary FAQ to go in, or like for me, and maybe fine. I'm just
like it's a little ridiculous, but at least it's kind of what I think what this is it's like we're not doing anything else to this army. It's like that statement.
Yeah. Do you wish they had?
No. I think it's fine.
Good. Perfect. I do want to point out, guys, I know we're in this strange and exciting new world of content creation on our own, away from any kind of mothership or thing. I want to pull up this next slide here. This was a video by Auspex Tactics where they had a 10-minute video talking about this rule update.
Yeah.
Okay,
Val,
it's not just this rule update, though, is it?
What is it?
Well, it's the update to Imperial armor as well. That's why this is 10 minutes, John.
But could also be talking about all the questions that perhaps were frequently asked and not addressed. I mean, as an ignorant person, like that FAQ looked like the bad old days of FAQs, like in a big way.
It came across to me as sort of like the, oh man, okay, so 10th edition, we just have to do this and this and this. And someone's like, hey, could you FAQ World Eaters? I'm like, no, God, no, just put out a document. And then on they move. I did think it was interesting. The top of the FAQ does say it's Indomitus version 1.0 was what it says right under Codex World Eaters. And I'm not sure if others have had something similar underneath.
Interesting.
Yes, they do.
So beautiful. Question answer.
Indomitus, I guess Indomitus is the edition name, actually.
Oh, are we going to away from numbered editions and onto named editions?
They've only ever really casually used numbered editions, but I think all of the FAQs refer to Indomitus, and then if they've been updated more than once, it'd be 1.1, 1.2, etc.
Kim in chat saying, how amazing would it have been if they released an FAQ that had 0 questions in it? It was just the document in the header.
I feel like
and
that
nothing
happened in
else there.
fantasy. There was like one. I feel like the Wood Elves had some errata with no FAQ question.
With no errata.
Yeah,
Amazing.
They
So moving
never,
on.
I don't think they got an FAQ even.
I think it was bullshit.
Because it was like the last book
was-
that
yeah.
came out for the edition.
Well, then there was End Times, and they did FAQ some End Times.
That's true.
They were just very half-assed because it was right. It was right when they stopped getting around to it.
Yeah.
Moving on, Danny. This next slide here. Can you describe what's going on in this slide here?
Okay, it says ordering Gretchen in the hopes GW's automated warehouse sends me a 10th edition pod.
Yeah,
With a thinking orc head.
That's some 40
Very
chat.
clever.
Too.
I think this is playing off the Eddie Murphy meme where he's tapping his forehead.
That's not Eddie Murphy, but you are
What?
racist.
Who is it? Really? Who's that meme of? I thought it was a meme from Beverly Hills Cop.
No, it's not Beverly Hills. It's not Axel Foley. That's just a black guy. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my bad. Sorry.
Sorry, that was funny.
That was really good. But yeah, what's this in reference to?
Don't worry, guys. That was actually a deep fake of Danny being ignorant.
I just thought it was. Now I'm researching it.
I think I also once upon a time it was too.
So what this is in reference to is GW's supply servitors sent out a brand new Commander Dante instead of the old Commander Dante. We can bring it up on this next slide here to someone who just ordered it at the web store, which is a leak we can't blame Miniac for. Talk to me, Danny, about the new Dante model while you're researching.
Yeah, it looks like someone stapled a baby face onto like a power armored body. That's what I don't like about it. I think it's fine. Like the artificer armor is cool. His pose is fine. Like, but the stupid little death mask looks terrible.
Yeah,
How many?
Also, just gonna say, chat points out as well. This guy had time to paint this, so it's not like they sent it like 2 days ago and then he just posted it up. He put it together for his clout. Very nice ring light on there, by the way. But yeah, what a mistake. And if we go to the next slide, Dicky, we can kind of see what Danny was talking about. This horrific death mask. I didn't realize it was skin color. Danny, was it always skin color?
You think it's skin color and that's just not gold?
I think it looks to me like it's just someone has like, it looks like RoboCop. You know when RoboCop took off his helmet?
Oh man, yeah.
That's all I can see. So even
Are
if
you
it is
suggesting
gold,
that Dante?
illegible,
Are you suggesting that Dante eats baby food?
Maybe
he does.
He's
He
really
does.
old, dude. He probably eats a lot of baby food.
Just Memphis in coming up alongside him, going like, "Dante, it's you," and it just shuts down his programming.
Murphy.
But
I'll take
What
some
this does-
pureed beef.
what this does bring up is, Danny, and you could answer. This is an easy question, softball even. Why can't they just let Dante die? At this point, doesn't he just want to die? And didn't he just go this? I mean, the meme we just showed preface that he went through the Rubicon so he could die.
Well, John, unfortunately, the Blood Angels are led by the Kevorkianites, so they're really against assisted suicide. So until Dante dies of natural causes, they're actually unable to assist him with resting in peace. And you know they're just going to throw him in a dreadnought anyway, right?
I was gonna say, like, at least a
Oh,
dreadnought
God.
version, but they killed Tycho, so like, I mean, they could kill Dante.
They could, but Tycho
Man,
never got a new
imagine-
model either.
I want
Tycho, yeah.
a Redemptor Dreadnought Dante with a tiny little Inferno pistol, just that he's holding his little fingers and a big old axe.
And a gigantic dead baby face stretched all over
like-
the sarcophagus.
Maybe 3.
like,
Just multiple faces.
like
stapled.
it's like that chaos dreadnought conversion everyone does with the baby doll head,
yeah.
except just Dante's face.
That's amazing.
You know, and there's
then
nothing more heroic than seeing, this champion of the Imperium with 3 faces on his helmet. Nothing really inspires confidence like terror.
And none of them are his face. They are just other.
No, they're
babies'
just other people's faces.
Yeah.
We can go back a slide, back to kind of the picture of the box here, Dante. Danny and Val, I'm also going to talk to you about kind of where models are going, because this seems like a very inconvenient model to transport, being that is attached to the tippy top of a rock by the tiniest contact point. why are we seeing so many of these models that like GW has their opens all over the world now? People are traveling to them. Why do we have these models that seem impossible to transport?
Have you seen the sprue for this model?
I have not.
Maybe his foot is like actually molded to the rock instead
like
of
it
it
is.
being like a piece that you glue on there. So it's maybe more stable than it first appears.
No, I feel like that's got to be one piece. Surely
The
it's one piece.
It's the first appearance of the tactical foot.
No, I feel like that foot and the rock is one piece. I know exactly what
fair.
Danny means. And that's why you're not going to get a lot of like bends and rebends out of it, but like he's probably gonna be somewhat resilient. He won't just
Yeah, you're probably more likely to break him off at his leg joint, I bet.
something like that.
That's fair. Guys, people coming in late to the show saying, why John not at desk? One, this is John is constructing the recordatorium right now. And he hasn't quite green screened it up. And they won't give me a TV. So I have to steal Val's TV and be over here. Val, his recordatorium is much larger, so he gets to sit at the desk. Quite big. He has a very large recordatorium.
It's right there.
Fantastic.
Dude, I love it. This next one I'm throwing up here is kind of some of the complaints people are having about the new Space Marine models. 38% of the time, it works every time. When it first was announced that existing characters and existing Marines could go through the Rubicon and become Primaris for Marines, it was very dangerous and there was a very low chance of success. But Danny, why has there been no failures?
John, are you familiar with the concept of plot armor? What about a Mary Sue? Now, John, let me tell you something. The reason that these super important characters to the background of 40K haven't succumbed to the Rubicon is because they haven't decided which characters they want to kill off for the new edition instead of advance them off to Primaris yet. So we're still kind of, don't worry, it'll happen, but just one time.
Val, are you surprised that in the story, the lore, there's not even being kind of mention of failures? Like, oh, here's a body of a Marine that failed and kind of whoosh him off to the side. It's just sort of be like, yeah, it doesn't work very often, but it works all the time.
I just want them to get the friggin' Terminators and the jump packs out so they can just retcon this whole bullshit away and it can just not happen anymore. Maybe we can just have Space Marines again.
That'd be cool.
Is that
this is the dumbest friggin' strategy ever?
Is that just because you don't want
ever
Napoleon
invading Russia? Not as dumb as Primaris Marines. Other strategies that were bad. Not as
the Germans assaulting Russia in winter. Yeah,
I mean, I tried not to use Nazis as an example.
I didn't say the word. Why did you say the word?
Well, I mean, I went with Napoleon very much on purpose to avoid saying the Germans, and you just had to go right there, John. What does that say about you? It
says that currently I'm learning the language and lived in Europe in my youth.
John, Val, you're the Napoleon of our podcast.
You are.
Am I? I've conquered this desk, and I've driven you out into your tiny televisions. Oh.
Perfect.
That was far less insulting than what I said. Good job. Danny, which character do you wish it had failed on?
Ooh, man, great question.
I have one an episode I'm allowed to do.
Yeah.
Val asks for more, but I'm like, okay, and then I don't.
Well, so I'm just going to preempt it right now.
Okay.
I'm really happy that I really wish it would have failed on Cato Sicarius. Because that's coming. It's definitely coming down the line.
Yeah, it is. Val, what about you? Who's a character you wish it had failed on? They tried to cross and they just died.
Azrael.
Oh, true. He is. Which character who is not crossed over yet do you think it will fail on?
Ooh. Well, who's just always kind of screwing up? Who's the derpiest of the derps?
Obviously, it's Pedro Cantor.
Yeah. Oh, he'd be cool.
Say, for me, Lysander.
Is he an Imperial Fist?
Imperial Fist, Terminator Imperial Fist.
Oh, they
even.
also have
So,
that
yeah,
Biggie Small, and they got Biggie Smalls. They have like a
Yeah.
Primaris character who's not Lysander.
They have New Fist Boy.
The kind of
Poor
Sopan is Primaris size, just no motorcycle. I would love it. I would love it if actually the thing that failed to cross the Rubicon was his motorcycle, so that like
Moondragon just like couldn't cross the Rubicon Primaris.
no, but he still rides it, so he's just got like a fucking mini motorcycle. Like that's the
Like
thing.
the
I
end,
want.
yeah, dude.
like the end of Fast and Furious 7, where they just part courses.
Amazing.
And then-
As we said, leaks have been coming, and maybe it's not Miniac. Leaky Cheese on Twitter actually went back and compiled every leak from the past few years.
Okay.
And kind of said what caused the leak. So we had Warhammer Titan bases.
Holy crap! This is fascinating.
We had Huracan. The wind changes were a supplier leak, a confidentiality failure. Danny, what was your favorite leak from this list? We have about 17 from the past few years.
I can't spell leaky.
I don't know, man. I'm just reading these for the first time. I didn't see these.
Yeah.
Should I be looking at these show notes?
You should probably be checking show notes. I stay up late on Sunday to do them. It's fine.
He didn't share them until very recently, to be quite frank.
That's true. I mean, in my defense, it's the same link it's been for the past year.
Warhound Titan base. What a stupid thing to leak. How did that leak? What do you mean? Like
don't know.
they showed that on
the
the previews?
Hold on.
Yeah,
I don't know that I believe. I don't know if I believe a lot of. Like I haven't heard those explanations. Where are these explanations coming from? Like one of them was that like a ninth edition like book was found in the trash. Did I read that right?
Yep.
Ninth ed rulebook found in bin 3.5 weeks before Indomitus release, presuming internal confidential failure. That's crazy.
There's dumpsters in the back of Warhammer World. People
True.
taking photos, and they're just full of product. So I can believe it.
Remember the Magnus box?
Magnus was also found in the dumpster. Yeah.
This also doesn't. Well, Magnus was a joke that they did. That was a bit that they did to explain.
Yeah, they did that.
It.
They did that bit because the box was literally found in a dumpster
In the garbage.
that's how
So
it
people, this is all dumpster diving? That's hard to believe.
in Nottingham. Not so hard to believe.
I don't know. Think of the people that would be doing that. You kind of fits.
I mean, there's a lot of like, if people like just us publishing the fact that most of this seems to be from dumpster diving means that there are some greasy dudes on the way to Nottingham right now to just go spelunking in some GW dumpsters.
Take pictures.
They don't have that good razor wire like they do in the States there. They might have some barbed wire, maybe. I mean, you can get over that with a minor tetanus shot.
You up, but it's not going to maim you like American razor wire.
Nah, you're not going to get sliced up here.
Plus, with universal healthcare, they'll be fine. Like,
and it's not like they're armed on the other side. Like, you know, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to politely ask you to leave. Please, sir, stop going through my trash.
Probably give you some tea.
Yeah, I mean, that's like being shot. That's the British version of being shot, is being politely asked to leave. But
it might as well be killed on the spot.
I thought it was stabbing.
Before Leaky Cheese shared this information, he did a poll of his Twitter followers asking, how do you think information is leaked? Danny, Val, they said that most of the people who took the poll 40% believed that there was an NDA breach from non-GW employees. Maybe like fantastic, handsome guys who do book reviews on this very channel.
Whoa.
Easy,
we are not a leaking entity. That's really important to say.
We are non-GW employees with an NDA. That's what is being said.
Considering like just the way they publish stuff and the types of errors they make in their like proofreading and their like copy editing process, they clearly don't have the best internal document controls in the digital form. I'm not surprised that this would be the source of a lot of leaks outside of that. And by the way, this doesn't even include all the AOS leaks, which are just enormous and like way in advance.
So it's just us guys here, Val. You can tell us. Does Rob, the Honest Wargamer, just walk into Warhammer World and grab a book and leave?
I think they just never like turned off his badge. I think he just beeps. I think he just beeps in and like says hi to fucking Gerald the Night Watchman, and like just
brings him a cup of tea.
Just fucking fires him a biscuit. Fucking pinches someone's bum and then just grabs a stack of books off of a desk.
Dang.
Guys,
What a life.
are you surprised though the majority of the players believe that the majority of league
The only people they seem to care about with regards to like document control are people outside the building. Like things are watermarked, you know, like you can usually tell when it's someone who has an NDA that leaked it.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, with the quantity of reviewers out there, because there is a ton of non-GW employees who do receive product either for painting or reviewing, are you surprised there is not more leaks that come from that, especially with the lead time that they have sometimes?
No, because I mean everything pretty much gets leaked now. I would say anything with rules, like pretty quickly. The only thing I think that survived recently that I can remember is the new Strike Force with the Marines and the Dreadnought. Those didn't.
Oh, yeah, that was a total surprise.
Those didn't get leaked immediately. So
yeah. Val, are you surprised that there's not as much, or there's not a whole ton of leaking from NDA non-employees?
Not at all, because they're legally bound to not leak, and people at some level are aware of who has what. At least like the trail to those people should be easier to figure out than you know, depending on again what your internal document control is like, who has access to what internally, especially when you're like collaborating a lot. Like these are big collaborative functions. It's not saying this very like casually here, like obviously it's not super easy to like contain the wild torrents of creative output that GW makes. But yeah, I'm not surprised that NDAs being breached isn't the main source of this, because again, that's the most traceable, you know, source that they could come from.
Yeah,
and the ones I can think of from back in the day that were, you know, playtesters, NDA sourced or whatever, like punishment was meted out very, very, very harshly and quickly.
For sure.
Yeah. Caledonian Death Watch indeed.
Fuck my life. Wow. Jeez.
Deep cuts.
Why not just mention the Nazis again?
I never once mentioned. Oh my god. Never mind. Anyway, there's a lot of internal leakage going on from GW. There's a lot of terrible internal controls, but they have set out this wanted poster because they know the person they're looking for there. And if you find this person, please send them to Warhammer Community for punishment. Hell yeah, that joke hit as well as I thought it would.
That's a good bit.
Your hands?
Yeah, they're very sausagey. They look like hobbyist hands, at least.
Do you know? So
like
for those audio listeners,
whoever's hands those are would have trouble like holding on to a coffee mug.
For those audio listeners, by the way, who don't know what it is, I put up a wanted poster. It was just a picture of hands, and as a way to joke about the Warhammer TV presenters being reduced to just hands.
Just hands, yeah. Only hands.
Do you know how hard it was to Google and find a stock image of just two hands that weren't doing some weird thing or symbol? It's quite hard. I had to do some search terms. Anyway, moving on. Dicky has prepared a timer for us for this next slide here.
Okay.
It's a beautiful thing. We're going to bring it up. Danny, what are we looking at here real quick? There's a 5-minute timer.
Well, what kind of timer did you want?
So far, I think it's set, John. That's what I'm looking at.
I believe in the notes I asked yesterday for a 30-second timer, but we're going to explain things first. Danny, what are we looking at when Dicky pulls it up when I stop asking him to do things?
We got 1 minute. We got 1 minute.
There you go.
Okay, so it's oh my god, it's like the two I don't know. Is this guy a Wojak?
He's the Chad? Isn't he the Chad?
I don't know the names of the characters. I just like to.
All right, so there's like a Chad guy here. He's saying, "Tell me briefly the lore of Warhammer 40,000" to this obese-looking gentleman with a large brain.
Large brain.
And it's very
the
wrinkled.
Biggest brain.
In fact, it's wrinkling his skin outside of his skull, so it must be incredibly wrinkled.
That's the brain that's doing that.
And it looks like just a wall of text that he's saying, and then the Chad guy says, "Please help." While the obese man with the large brain grows larger in proportion to the Chad character, so he's growing either in size or power.
I think focusing away from the physicality of the characters and more on the premise. I want to give you both a chance to improve on this here. Tell me the lore of Warhammer 40,000 in 30 seconds. Once we get this reset here.
Oh, okay.
I don't want it.
So starting with Val, because he so beautifully suggested, in 50 seconds or less, tell me the lore of Warhammer 40,000. Go.
Well, you've got a guy who, like a lot of powerful white males, gets into a jam, has too many kids, and just accidentally loses them all into the galaxy. And then when he finds them, they all have predictably serious daddy issues, and they start being upset with one another and manifesting various pan-dimensional gods and demons. And then there's aliens. Aliens are real, and Dad dies, but he doesn't, and he's just always an awkward present at future family dinners.
So your explanation of Warhammer is that a white dad lost his kids in Walmart, and then they threw a tantrum.
Yeah, something like that, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so truth be told, I don't actually know the lore of Warhammer 40,000.
I think you got a pretty good start right there. So, Danny, Val took it out here. You have about 50 seconds. We're gonna hide some wires in front of the TV and just make it extra cool, and then we can look up on this. Go.
Okay, so imagine the Holy Roman Empire, but set it in space, like pretty far in the future, but far enough that they've forgotten how to do stuff again. And the Emperor is actually God, and he has angels, but some of them fall and some of them don't. And it kind of creates this moral turpidity, and the civilization backslides quite a bit. Now, they try and just exterminate all the native life that they find close by, as well as fighting for their souls against the depredations of demons. And that is the Warhammer 40,000 fluff in like 45 seconds.
I mean, someone in chat was like, YouTube Shorts, here we come. I mean, you're not wrong. But I think, Dicky, if we could insert like just the confused math face meme over Daddy's explanation, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think that's
you lost me at Holy Roman Empire, but that's okay.
So literally, like within the first 3 words.
Within the first 3 words, about how quickly it takes for me to lose our entire listener base when I start talking about 40K.
I think I've got. Can I take another stab at this? Can you give me a 30 seconds?
Oh yeah, Dicky. Give him a clock up there.
Go.
Okay, I thought about this. Is it just go?
Dicky.
Yeah, it's on. Go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this is just off the top of my head here. Okay. The Warhammer 40,000 is a science fiction setting that takes place in a dystopian future where the Imperial Man, a vast human empire, I'm just spitballing, is under constant threat from alien races and the forces of chaos. The lore, characterized by its complex, dark, and often violent themes, features various factions such as Space Marines, Imperial Guard, also blah, blah, blah. The universe is also known for its intranet political machinations. Wow. Intranet political machinations. I had a stroke when I said that. Epic battles, presence of an ancient godlike entities known as the Primaris and the Chaos Gods. The lore is incredibly deep and expansive with countless stories, characters, and conflicts that shape the fate of the galaxy. I'd say both Danny and I did better than ChatGPT.
Yeah. ChatGPT, by the way, is going to be a feature player in the show a lot. Chat is asking Danny,
might say,
can we ask Taylor to do this in 10 minutes? My reply would be, we could ask him, but he's not going to. He's
not
going to
survive.
An Energizer bunny that when you start it, he just doesn't stop.
If Taylor talked for 10 minutes straight, his heart would explode. I'm telling you right now, it would happen.
He also hates timelines.
And also,
like if you give him a timeline, he freaks out.
My favorite thing was when there's an old episode of Signals. It's still up on the Frontline Gaming Network. Go check it out. And they have Taylor on to give a brief 10-minute chat about the Horus Heresy, not knowing that the poor guy, like legit, he's a great guy. If you put a timer in front of him for anything, it just tilts him a little bit. So just seeing that live was something else. But moving on here. more kind of plot wise about 40K, I found this poster here on Reddit. It's like, I want ya for a wah. And it says here, GW has chosen you, yes, you, to move the storyline of 40K forwards. What happens? So I'm going to start with you, Val, so you can't type it into ChatGPT.
I don't know. The thing I've always kind of liked is the idea of what seems like maybe might happen, which is that the Lion comes back, but he's like sort of the like evil, mean, or like sort of the harsher version of sort of Imperial rule or whatever. And there's a, you know, they have the Citrotix maledictum or whatever it's called. Seems already set up to have a split between the Imperiums, and one side is Gilliman and one side could be the Dark Angels or whatever. And that seems like fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Danny?
I'm so mad that Val stole my answer like right from my fucking mouth.
I think it feels too obvious. Like obviously they're gonna fuck it up somehow.
Yeah.
Like like the line doesn't come back. It's Russ.
Am I on a timer again? Oh no.
And he just loves metal.
Okay, you got a minute, Danny. Go.
Okay, so here's what I would like to see. I would like to see Tyranids wipe out several races. Like, just get rid of the Black Templars, get rid of the Ultramarines, just eat Eldar, just have them be gone. No more Tau. Basically get rid of any army that has any kind of real shooting power. So the game becomes nothing more than rush forward into melee and beat your opponent. That sounds like probably the best game I've ever played, and therefore the fluff needs to reflect that.
Did you get beat by a lot of shooting at your most recent RTT?
No.
Just wondering why this sudden desire to remove all shooting.
Look, no, dude, yeah, you really got to dumb the game down to really kind of exploit the close combat phase. So
that's fair. I'm gonna do mine in less than 10 words. Kill all the baby Marines, apart from some.
Please.
Let's order 66 regular Marines and just have them be all like sad and shit, and have
you can just have.
So you'd rather that there was a baby Marine Holocaust than just like writing out the fact that there was ever a difference between them.
Yep, I want them to be like Thunder Warriored out, and I want them to be mad about it, because chaos legions are kind of forming back together into large things. I like the war bands. I want little war bands of baby Marines who are like, no. And then they can keep making these weird tiny models that are out of scale, and they're going to make everyone uncomfortable to look at. Love it. That's what I want to do. Danny, you sent me this one here. It's 40K in popular culture. It's from a game called Monikers, I believe. What are we looking at here?
So it's a card. Hold on a second. Enhance. Well, that didn't work. The quality is too poor.
I can definitely read it here for you if you want. It says a Warhammer argument, a dispute over a miniature game, which can easily evolve into a feud. The Elder Codex quite clearly states that the Harlequin's inertia pivot is not teleportation based. Sandra, get the custom movement gauges, which is serious nonsense. 4 points.
Yeah, I was really hoping that the example was going to be warp spiders. Because 7th edition warp spiders did make me say to someone who I've known since before puberty, shut the fuck up, you're lying to me, show me the codex.
There's no way that's real.
There's no way that is something that someone wrote in a book. But in fact was
it 7th edition warp spiders that wounded on initiative?
No, it was the 7th edition warp spiders that could move infinitely. And then later on, they were allowed to do that in your opponent's turn too, because they became Ynnari. Hilarious.
So, guys, what is a deeply held? Sorry, go.
I was just gonna say, anyone who thinks that Warhammer doesn't have alternating activations never played late 7th edition Warhammer 40,000.
Because you played a Ynnari every round. But what is a deeply held belief that you guys have that others disagree with?
With regards to rules?
Yeah, well, just Warhammer, like rules, lore, models, something that you're passionate about, but others are like, that's dumb, you're stupid.
I think there should be more 3+ invulnerable saves.
Shut up. Why? Like, for real, you're not just trolling right now?
Yeah, no, I think they were fine for. I think they were fine for the game. It really, I think that it was fine for like volume
For who?
firepower.
For Siege demons? Like, why? Why does anything need 3-up and vulnerable?
What had it, dude? Storm shields.
Oh, man, I don't enjoy them like at all.
I mean, I think I'd probably rather have a 2-up invulnerable save rather than 3 fucking saves.
Oh yeah.
There's an invulnerable, there's an armor save, an invulnerable save, and a feel no pain. So, what the hell?
You can't take them all. It's not fantasy, Val. You can't take all 3 of your saves at the same time.
You don't take all 3 saves. You got that WAP on the brain, bro. Got that WAP on the brain.
No. They consolidated ward and regeneration now, so you have to choose one.
Mm-hmm. No, but like, okay, so hold on. You're not allowed to. You take your armor save. Sorry, you take your invulnerable save if your armor save is blown out.
No, you take your armor save and then your ward save.
We're talking 40k here.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
40k. Yeah, it's either or.
So it'd be armor save or invulnerable save, and then a feel no pain.
Yes.
Right.
It's only ever 2.
Chad is asking Danny, do you want a 3++ only against ranged damage? Or range shooting?
No, I want it in close combat. Because remember, we're kicking and actually I want it all the time, but we're kicking out all the good shooting and we're only playing close combat now, guys. This is the smartest way to play 40k.
Danny's I was gonna say Danny's 10th edition Warhammer is no shooting, only punching, and everything is a 3+ invulnerable save. So you're just sitting for an hour and a half in one combat.
Yep.
You know what this makes me horny for? You know what this makes me horny for? Is Keldar Drago crossing the Rubicon Primaris. Big time boner for that. I'm all in.
Why have no Grey Knights cross the Rubicon and they just come out with bigger models?
Dude, I'll tell you, their dicks are too big, John.
Way too big. Way too big.
You gotta be this short to cross.
Yeah. They're shoehorned into that armor as it is.
Those hogs won't fit over the Rubicon.
That's actually how other Space Marines cross the Rubicon Primaris, is on the erect Venus of a Grey Knight.
That's the 21st organ.
Dude, it's the Emperor's gift, dude. Come on.
I found this guy here. We're going to spend a little bit of time now, our last 6 or so minutes. It's called 40k Conspiracy Theories, normal. But I do have to zoom in on this one because holy crap, it's tiny.
Jesus. How many layers of this one are there? I know there's more.
It's the iceberg. It's the iceberg here. Okay,
there's not only many layers, but
give me the
also,
top. Let's level set here. What's the top layer?
Top layer. Oh god, I'm gonna lean in here. Let me just. We have the Emperor is healing. The Primarchs are slowly returning, and the Tyranids are running from something. What do we think about those as conspiracy theories?
I'm in.
I think those are pretty cool, and the Tyranids running from something is awesome and terrifying.
That's like one of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
They're running from Keldar Drago.
It's the Necrons.
Just swinging his dick around.
Yeah,
like a fucking lasso.
Cross this
Chapter Master for no reason. Let me tell you that.
Chapter Master's nuts. The next
is not just a euphemism.
The next level of conspiracy theory is all Tau based.
Okay.
So I want to hear your opinions on this. This one is the Aldari created the Tau.
Okay.
The Necrons created the Tau. Or the old ones created the Tau. Where are we at for this?
That's over my head.
It's old ones.
Old ones? Yeah. Did maybe the Necrons create them to feed souls to get bodies? Or like as like a little body race that they could
body farm? Like there's just a
body farm? A body farm. And then they accidentally left anime on for 10,000 years. And when they came back, they were ruined.
Left their Crunchyroll subscription like out like on a counter and
then imagine going out for smokes and coming back to see your race playing Genshin Impact just competitively the entire time. Like how disappointed would you be?
Okay, I have a question for you. I'm gonna
absolutely please do. Okay.
Why? What about Genshin Impact is so important to you?
So I don't even know what it is.
I'm a massive fan of a YouTube creator called Maxor and the videos
Uh-huh.
he does. And his constant Genshin Impact references are great. And last week he actually released a video review of one of the games. And it was just sublime. It was perfect. It's bizarre. And it's just it's very funny. And I just like the idea. It's a gacha game. And it's just like you send children to fight in mine for no reason other than just bizarreness.
I like
but it's
Primaris.
great. Yeah, you'll hate the game. It's everything is random. So the weapon you get random, the upgrades random. It's all just keep playing. Just keep mining for weapons. Moving on. We have more theories. Man, this guy really likes Tau. The dark age of technology humanity created the Tau. There is actually genuinely nothing in the empty holding cell in the Xenos bestiarium of the Death Watch. And the Leagues of Votan were deliberately created by the Men of Iron. Danny, you want to expand on any of these?
Yeah, the Votan one seems likely.
Just men creating men.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they created Guardians, right? For like these huge AIs, because like the Votan, like the space dwarves themselves, not the Votan like their AIs, are like they worship these AIs, and so I think the AIs kind of like were like, hey, I'll just create some biological organisms that are like men, so men won't immediately kill us, and we'll just hide inside of these, these huge computer stacks.
Can you guys like talk a little quieter? Like ChatGPT is open in one of my browsers.
No problem. We're gonna ASMR this, Tony. So the next level, I want
to worry about them hearing
here. Is something from beyond the galaxy is pretending to be the Silent King.
Oh, that's stupid.
Why is that stupid?
Because come on.
Fair. All right, you make a compelling argument, and I'm happy to see.
Okay,
I'm happy to see the dollars put into law school.
That was on my level. Your Honor, I would like to use the come on defense.
Here we go. This one kind of goes in here. This is the last one we're going to touch on, so there's something else I want to get to before we go. The Emperor actually killed Sanguinius.
Good.
Is that is that plausible lore?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, what if he needed to get to Horus through Sanguinius? Like, he would do it for sure.
Roll through.
Just stab right through him. Right through him into Horus. He would do that in a second.
Didn't seem to care much. By the way, there was one last one on that bottom tier that I think
love it.
is appropriate.
Please. Which one
I can't actually see them, but if you could quickly scan them, I think you'll know what I'm talking about.
It says Horus is alive.
Yep.
The Emperor is Imperial propaganda, or Calder Drago is actually Omegon. And I believe his penis would be Alfarius.
Yes.
Whoa. All right, I'm back in. I was out. Now I'm back in.
much like Calder Drago's penis.
Hey.
Last thing I want to cover tonight, guys, and then we're gonna let everyone go home, is on slide 19, Dicky. We're gonna skip the bizarre conspiracy theories. I just threw them in there just in case we didn't have any good conversation.
Unlikely.
This guy came up. Daddy, it was very subtly hinted that a new edition of Space Hulk is coming. What are your guys' thoughts on Space Hulk? Because, I mean, it's not subtle. Space Hulk is coming.
It's probably the most accessible way to play 40K. I think probably more people have played Space Hulk than 40K for sure.
I, for one, hope that 10th edition is not coming and that it's, in fact, just a re-release of Space Hulk.
Oh, God, dude.
You hope they told all of the store managers you can't take time off in June because we're releasing 4th edition Space Hulk?
And, well, no, because Old World then comes in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. I would take that. That would be a good trade to me.
How can you improve on Space Hulk?
I've never played it.
Really?
You never played Space Hulk?
I've never played any of the little games, despite them all looking awesome. The only one I've ever actually played. Actually, okay, so I lied immediately. Played Gorka Morka way back in the day, and I played Blood Bowl recently. But those are the only ones. And like Mordheim and like is definitely one, but even those are more detailed than than like Space Hulk, Hero Quest, I guess, are more. Those two I've never played.
Just to be real with y'all for a second, Val, the
Be
way
real.
you feel about Warhammer Fantasy is the way I feel about Gorka Morka. That I would yeet all of my miniatures into the sun if that would allow me a new edition of Gorka Morka. I love that game so much. It's stupid and I love it.
It's clear that it came up and they were like, nah, we'll just sort of redo Necromunda a little bit and we'll do the
What
Mad Max thing.
really
other
hurts
stuff
me.
first.
What
Huh?
really hurts me is they did Necromunda. Like, yeah, this is really successful. People love it. What about like Gorka Morka? How about if we take the fun stuff from that and just put it in Necromunda?
That's what I'm saying.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I hate it.
They chose to do that instead of Gorka Morka, and I don't know why. Gorka Morka is back. Just the Rebel Grots, like just them alone, should be like, why aren't they a faction in 40K? Because like they're sick. Like that whole idea.
I have the Red Gobbo original,
course,
new and
you
blister,
should.
new and blister downstairs, and my wife's like, "Oh, are you going to get rid of this one?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Why?" I was like, "If you go on eBay right now, it's like $120. She's like, "Going to sell?" I'm like, "Never. No, this is I love this game."
The Red
Gorka
Gobbo
Morka
is
so good.
If you guys don't know who the Red Gobbo is, they made him into a Christmas tree ornament for some reason. Most recently,
The fucking worst. I hate it.
I don't know why
so
they did that
much.
to him, but he is probably one of my favorites. I too have a Red Gobbo. He is in my grots. He does exist. He does get when they're not.
Like if they were to do it in the current edition, like a Grot Rebellion Army of Renown.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
man.
Would be really cool.
So
this
good.
is one of the things I particularly love about Warhammer Fantasy, and like even AOS to an extent, is goblins. Like goblins and grots are like in Gretchen in 40K. They're the best. Like they are the fun evil bastards that the orcs are just sort of the brutish evil bastards, you know? Like so they're definitely the Mork part of the Gorka Morka.
The better part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Absolutely. Guys, as we round out here, Adepticons this week. How are we feeling about the reveals? What are you expecting to see out of GW? What are we going to be talking about next Monday?
Man, I'm
Apart
trying
from
to keep my
Space Hulk.
expectations really light. I don't expect very little, to be honest, from me. Like, I hope we see some cool new models. I'm sure we will. Probably some Tyranids, maybe some Terminators. But I'm just no expectations, because that is the way to ruin.
It's fair. Val?
The last two editions have been announced at Adepticon. That being said, they have a 10,000 person Warhammer Fest or some crazy obnoxious number happening in Manchester in like a couple of weeks.
Oh,
so I don't know. I think perhaps maybe Adepticon gets snubbed and we don't actually learn anything useful. It's hey, look at this cool
gets
dude.
a Constellation Space Hulk.
You know, it's possible.
this is the right time to start the hype, though, for sure. Like,
This is traditionally when they've done it as Adepticon, but 8th and 9th were both announced. Well, 9th would have been announced at Adepticon, but the pandemic thing. So it should be 10th.
Dicky, if you go to slide 23, they actually have the GW preview for Adepticon. We have an early access slide to it.
Oh, I just got closed it by accident.
Well, he did tell you that he wasn't doing it anymore.
Never mind.
Next show.
Never mind. We have nothing. We have nothing. That's fine. We will use the graphic a lot for Adepticon. That's cool. Guys, anything else you want to add in before we sign up for the week?
Yeah.
Nah, man. It's
Happy to
been a
be
pretty
here.
good show. I had a lot of fun. It was a good time, man. I appreciate that.
Good time.
Dicky,
Tell your friends.
if you haven't been watching, Dicky just killing it with the shorts. I think he's
right?
like the guy has found his form in making shorts.
Ah, thanks.
Dicky has found a way to make the show entertaining, and the way you do it is to do 45 to 60 seconds at a time, and then 100%. You're done.
Yeah.
100%.
You don't have to do any more. And now he just has to put up with my insane ramblings of, hey, we should do this.
Yeah.
Did I ever post the podcast last week?
No,
No,
you did not.
My bad, guys. All right, so we'll catch up the podcast.
On the plus side, you continue to disrespect the audio listener as I do. You do it in a better way. much like
More
sitting
direct,
behind that
right?
desk.
Right, hit him right in the pocketbook.
Direct,
So to
Yeah,
speak.
I mean, are they contributing to the Patreon? Maybe.
maybe. For the next person who gives us $5 a month, we'll get a copy of the podcast as a. another
One
We'll
time
do the
memento.
podcast via the Patreon RSS feed only.
that way it's hidden and no one will get to listen to it as it
Exactly.
should be. Guys, Daddy, anything you want to add in here before we get going?
No, John.
What was your favorite short from last week that Dicky did? Because it's all Dicky.
That's nice.
He's asked for help.
Feels so nice.
He's asked for help, but we're like, no.
Yeah, literally, I
Yeah,
said, "Hey, can you post one on Sunday?" Nothing.
And I tried.
I like
I
the one
did
where he
try.
made sure that everyone know you were saying Vash Tar and not Vash Tor. That was my favorite one. Was that from
was-
last week? Or
Yeah.
was that the week before?
Yeah.
That was the history when you guys did the kind of the
Yeah.
the lore. Yeah.
I will always say Vashtor because it rhymes with Trogdor, and that is how I see the mighty Vash.
Do you say Trogdar? Because I'm trying to figure out what. Okay.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Grim After Dark. Remember to follow us along. Go to Val set it up. It's in progress at www.grimafterdark.com. For all the socials, all the things. We're going to add a link in there so you can go to frontlinegaming.org and buy everything you need. And they'll sort you out and they'll kick us back a little cash too. Love those guys over there. Want to thank everyone who joined us in shorts and live recorded. We love you all unless you listen to the audio only version, in which case, you ever take a
You're
look.
okay.
But until next time, stay safe, stay warhammered, and remember, it's pretty grim after dark.
It on a bit thick there, John, I think, at the end there.
Just to let you know.
I
We're
mean-
live.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but I have to because this is like my only gig, and it's currently like $37 a month.
We need
I'm
more
going
dollars.
That's impressive. How are you squeezing that out? Are you pulling a little on the side?
We do have an OnlyFans as well,
Oh,
and that's where I got the picture of the hands from. Mine.
Only-
I had to
you
keep
moved
that.
it through your hands. We were trying to heavily.
Yeah, I did.
that's-
I don't know
that's
if you
fine.
caught the joke about you not being able to hold a coffee mug.
Because there's so much change in there from people throwing it in, thinking I'm just a homeless person.
What are the odds that Dicky actually updated the list of
Very low.
patrons?
Really good.
Very
I
low,
actually
I
did.
think.
I actually did.
Oh.
Good night, everyone.